Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome again. This will be the round two of today's triple header. So the title of this video will be, why is making good decisions important? Why is decision making important in your life, period? So these are some things that I want to discuss with that. The reason why decision making is so important is that we are all on a time constraint. Time is waiting for nobody. We are all on a time constraint. You don't know how much longer you have on this earth. Let's just keep it real. You don't know how much longer you have on this earth. You know that death can happen at any time, anywhere, for any reason, at any age. So we don't have time to be sitting here and playing games when it comes down to the direction that we want to go in life. Now, I say that to say this, because when it comes down to young people, you guys know that I'm a youth advocate. I work with at-risk youth, speak to families. And one of the things that we try to hit home with them is that as a young adult, as a teenager, you should be trying to soak up as much knowledge or as much good information as you can. You shouldn't have this attitude where can't nobody tell me anything, I already know what to do. How you gonna know what to do when you haven't been through certain situations yet? So you should be trying to soak up as much good information as you can, so then when that time comes, you know what decisions that you need to make. See, the thing is with teenagers is that prefrontal cortex part of their brain that helps decision making, that helps you weigh the pros and the cons, and you thinking about the rewards and the consequences of your actions, that's a part of the brain that doesn't fully develop till they get into their early to mid 20s. We've actually done training on this kind of stuff with the YAP program. That part of the brain doesn't fully develop, so a lot of times they struggle with making decisions, with making rational decisions. And they tend to make decisions based on how they feel at the moment, compared to making decisions based on rationale. How is this going to help me? How is it going to benefit me? Is it going to harm me, or is it going to help me? What are going to be the lasting consequences going on down the road if I make this decision, if I keep going in this direction? The difference between a smart person and a wise person: a smart person will learn from his mistakes. A smart person will learn from his or her mistakes. They make a decision, it didn't work out, they realize it's a mistake, and they move forward. You know, hey, that's life. A smart person will learn from their mistakes, but a wise person will learn from the mistakes of others. See, when you're able to just sit back and observe and be self-aware of what's going on around you, you can see the mistakes that other people make. And that ought to let you know, like, you know what, I'm not going to make that same move they made because I'm going to have the same outcome. So I'm going to just avoid making that mistake altogether. Do y'all see what I'm saying? The fact that you can go through life and be 65 and 70 years old and you have very few regrets in life because you made a ton of more, way a heck of a lot more good decisions than you did bad decisions. So one of the things about decision making is that when it comes to making good, bad, and bad decisions, I want y'all to get this. There are certain decisions, so some decisions, you make the decision, it's a wrong decision, and you end up having a consequence for that, but you're able to rebound from it. You're able to correct that mistake and continue to go forward. I wish, and I'm sure you guys wish, that life was that simple where you get a redo every single time that you mess up. You get a redo for it. Now, there are other decisions that when you make it and it's a bad decision, it can affect you for the rest of your life. There's no getting a second chance. There's no getting a redo. You can't hit the reset button like you do playing a video game and you get to start all over. You made a decision, it was a bad decision. The consequences are very severe to where it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. There's no redo for that. So do you see why it's important and it's in your best interest to make good decisions in life? I remember I done a video a while back, about 3 years ago, called Generational Curses. And in the video, what I discussed is that a lot of those bad habits that get passed down from the generation to generation, whether it be inherited, whether it be something that's learned, every person can make the decision on whether or not they want to continue that cycle or they want to break that cycle. They want to break that generational curse. We know that not everybody in our family, not everybody in the community is a good example. We see that. We see how their life turned out. So for those who were a bad example or had some bad things or bad consequences that happened to them, why in the world would we want to follow in their footsteps and make the same mistakes that they made? Somebody please help me out with that. Why would we want to do that? When you can make a decision in your own mind and say, you know what, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go a different path. Who knows? Maybe they didn't have all the information that they needed before they made that decision. Maybe they did make a decision based on how it's going to feel at the moment, rather than thinking long term with the decision that they made. So rather than following those footsteps of those bad examples, you could be trying to strive and make better footsteps, making better decisions, making smarter decisions. And your life is going to be a lot easier because you're going to have less regrets. You're going to have less hiccups. Look, life is hard enough when you're just trying to do right. Especially when you live in a Christian life, when you live in a spiritual life. It's hard enough when you're trying to do right, when you're trying to make good decisions. So just imagine how much harder life is going to be when your decision making is nowhere where it needs to be. You making bad decisions left and right, and you experiencing those bad consequences time and time again. I'm sorry, I don't want to be in my 50s, 60s, and 70s and look back on life and have a disdain like, dang, I sure could have accomplished a lot more than I did. I sure didn't have to suffer as much as I did from bad decision making. I would have just made the right decision. So I want y'all to think about that. Decision making is very important in life. Make the right decisions. Life is going to be a lot smoother and easier for you. Peace.